Welcome, Dune Lady here. This is my first ever video. I am going to be doing a spoiler-filled analysis of the newest Dune Part 2 movie. I have not rehearsed this. I have a few things written down that I'd like to go through. I'm very excited about this movie. I know so many of you are too, and I just have so much to get off my chest. I don't mind doing this as one take. I have a lot to say, and I do plan on breaking this up into 3 parts. So here is my analysis. I will start with the opening scene. We have the language from Gidi Prime being recited, just as was in the first film. I do not know what that language was derived from, and it is really awesome to hear. It hits you right in the chest. You feel it, and you know it has started. Then we open onto Irulan. She is recording. This is how it is in the books. She does a lot of narration because she wants to capture what has happened. She has a lot of feelings. She is, as we see in the movie, now the Emperor's wife, and she is watching history in the making, which I kind of feel like we are now too. So, after that, let's see where we are. This is where I would be pausing, but it's okay. Also, if you would like to donate, my PayPal is at Jackie the Ripper, JACKYTHERIPPER. Almost there. So we open on Jamis or Jamis, and he has just been killed by Paul. So this movie is starting out immediately after where the fight occurred between Paul and Jamis. Very touching, and we see that there are Sardaukar that are arriving, and the Fremen are on it. We already see that they are formidable fighters. Paul and Jessica are not yet accepted by the Fremen, so they're like, just stay here, we got this. But we have Jessica with the Atreides battle language, so she's signaling to Paul, there are enemies, we need to act. So they run. They hide, and then we have the Sardaukar going up with their suits that are anti-gravity or something. That was awesome. I loved that art direction. Really cool design. Their suits were from the first movie. Knocked it out of the park. They were out of this world. When we get to the top, this little attention to detail that I really loved, to turn on whatever their anti-gravity device was using, they did something on their side pouch to turn it off, and we see that happening with 2 characters. I really thought that that was an awesome attention to detail. So they're up there, and they're like, oh, we're good, we're out of harm's way, and then they start getting sniped one by one. There we go. We're showing the Atreides are very formidable fighters. They were just outnumbered, and they were ambushed by the Harkonnen, who were conspiring with the Sardaukar and the Emperor. So that's really how they went down and were exterminated, really, in a genocide in the first movie. So we start seeing the bodies fall, and this is the first time in any movie that I really was horrified by a falling body. We feel the weight of those bodies hitting the sand in front of Paul and Jessica, and that kind of gave me imagery back to the World Trade Center, and it hit me in a way that I was not expecting. I really was truly horrified by what was happening there. So, I don't know how you all felt about that, but that was a very serious feeling that opened up the movie on a note that had some real stakes to it. It was very, very scary. Um, we see Paul, he takes a little nap, as Chani said, but he was, I think, having a little bit of a spice trance. He's in the desert and the spice is everywhere, and it affects the Atreides in a way. Although a lot of spice does affect everyone, it has prescient qualities, and as Chani says later in the movie, you can have some weird dreams. But Paul is being activated. So, um, after the Sardaukar are taken down, we see Chani come and get Paul. Right after Jessica, being the badass that she is, sees that Paul is in trouble, he turned his back to the enemy, and he might have been killed. And Jessica, being the Bene Gesserit that she is brutal. If you're in a room with the Bene Gesserit, your life is in danger. They can kill you without even thinking about it. They never reveal this. They don't want you to know that they're a threat. They don't want you to know that there's a danger. They are all about manipulation and plans within plans. So we see that happening there. And I think that that brings up a little bit of fear in Paul, which totally makes sense. He sees, like, oh shit, like, I've never seen my mom like this before. And she is really scary herself. And we do see in some of his visions that he is following his mother, and he's reluctant about that. I think that he sees that there are plans happening that are forming around him and pushing him to do something that he really doesn't want to do. Because in his visions, he sees that there are enormous galactic wide ramifications for the entire human race, that there is going to be an extermination, that there is going to be massive starvation. He talks about millions of people starving, but then he talks about billions of people dying in his name. He uses the term holy war, and that is because of the fundamentalists that he sees gathering on the Fremen planet, which is portrayed wonderfully. I really like that we get the geography of Dune, that the further south you go, the more fundamentalist the religion is, and these people are really indoctrinated and, in a way, brainwashed. We get some laughs out of Stilgar, but it is no joke. He is 100% wrapped up in this prophecy and who he thinks Paul is, which Paul himself knows. He is what people are making him out to be. He is this charismatic leader. His mother is setting him up to be something that he's not. The Bene Gesserit are on this planet, and they have been manipulating for centuries this prophecy. The Lisan Gaib is going to come and save the Fremen people. Chani sees through this, and she says, this is being used to control our people. You don't understand. We are not truly free because all we're doing here is waiting. We have inaction happening to not rise up and overthrow our oppressors because we're waiting. We're waiting for this prophecy, and it's bullcrap. And she does not believe in it. She sees things for what they are, and so we have a couple factions that are split up in the Fremen society. And I really, really do love that. I mean, we are creating a world, and that is how the world is. It is not a small section of uniform, distributed people who all believe the same thing. We even have an acknowledgement of Stilgar's accent. He may speak a different language, but I think not. I think it's more just a regional dialect, which happens in every country. So I really love that attention to detail too. And that kind of wraps up the setup of the introduction to the story of Dune.